Welcome back everybody to Will It Survive, and yeah, this game has had a really rather major update recently with the Gavril D series here being given not only a new facelift in terms of a new year, but also given a new array of variants, and yeah, the rest of the game has also had a various amount of updates as well, new map updates and the like, so yeah, highly recommend giving it a look over in terms of the update, see if it still will be able to convince you to buy the game, because yeah, they're continually updating this game since it is still in early access. And yeah, since the D series has been given some new variants, we're going to make it a D series orientated episode today. So yeah, this is the farmhand. It's as you can see, got a big pickup bed at the rear that can also be lifted up and down. And yeah, this car is quite tough, as I tested it out on the normal grid map, and it was able to put up with some fair old punishment. Took a hell of a long time for just one of the wheels to go, and even longer for the radiator to eventually be punctured, so yeah, I'm expecting it to do well here. So let's see what happens when we go flat out. Rises up by the rear, or by the front even first, and then comes crashing down. There goes the exhaust. It's got quite a hefty bull bar on the front, so any of the nose down aspects there will have been dissipated. Let's turn the engine off because we're about to hit the water, which can obviously hydro-lock the engine, which is not helpful. Well, the bed's been damaged, but that's about it from our impact in the water. Right, we're going to have to drag this thing out and then see if the car has survived. If it has, then this has easily been the more successful vehicle that we've had on this series so far. It usually takes at least 2 goes with most vehicles. Obviously I am damaging the roof there, but that is not the fault of the car with its run on here. And yeah, it seems to be driving perfect. Obviously, a bit lucky that it didn't end up rolling over or anything like that. The only damage really seems to be to the bed. Maybe the chassis has bent a little bit, but outside of the damage I've caused by dragging it out, it's not taking any real damage at all. Yeah, that is massively surprising, that is. Even though, obviously, like I said, it was quite a tough vehicle when I tested it out, but yeah. Bumper's been damaged, the rear bed's been damaged, it's been twisted a little bit, we've lost the brake light, and yeah, that's about it. Right, let's see what another version of this recently updated D series can do. Obviously we've already had a couple of variants on this series so far. We've had one of the D15 V8 4-wheel drives, I think it was this one here, and then we had the Kentork, which is here. It was either that version or a smaller version, so yeah, we've already taken a couple out on this series, but I wanted to try out these new variants. And another new variant is the cargo box uplift, so it's basically like the van, in terms of having a big cargo bit at the back. But with the D series being a far tougher vehicle, I should hope that it will do really rather well here, even with the additional weight. Obviously this weighs a hell of a lot more than the farmhand version with that massive cargo box on the rear of this. It's not exactly any slower either. I fear that the high centre of gravity on this is going to play havoc with us coming down on our wheels. What a sight that is. Right, it's coming down. It's bent the cargo box. The fuel tank has ruptured, which is not good. Hopefully we get landed and upright before we run out of fuel, so we can work out whether or not this is going to be survivable or not. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're going up, we're going up. Down we go. Whoa. Come on, get out of the water. Well, that is surprising that it's survived. Obviously the fuel tank has been ruptured, so it couldn't survive for much longer with its fuel gushing out of that rear fuel tank, but the steering is fine, it's still accelerating fine. Got even lost a radiator, and yeah, obviously the box element to this has been quite severely compromised, and there is obviously bodywork damage, but yeah, on the whole that has survived remarkably well. It's just a shame that the fuel tank ruptured really, but I guess it is quite exposed. It's somewhere here. I guess the extra weight from the box, cargo box, has made the forces greater when impacting the ground, so yeah. And there we go, the fuel tank has completely emptied, so yeah. But it did survive the initial impact and was able to get up to speed and turn around and all that lot, so it's a pass. Right, finally we are going to get into a pre-runner extended cab. So yeah, this is meant for tough off-roading, either in deserts or mud circuits or anything like that. It is only rear wheel drive, and it does weigh 7,209 pounds, which is slightly lighter than the box truck, but obviously I think this is going to be going faster. But it's also got more suspension travel and is more meant for dealing with tough landings, so this should also be a walk in the park, but I don't want to get my hopes up, because as we have seen in other series I have done, just because a car is meant for doing this kind of thing, or should be able to survive doing this kind of thing, does not necessarily mean it's going to be able to. So about 150 there off the ramp. We're going down on a heavy impact on the nose, which isn't going to be good for those exposed wheels. Indeed, it hasn't been. At least one of them has broken. It's not good. Slow down because we're going to come into the sand. I fear that wheel sticking out like that is going to end up darting us off to the left as soon as we hit the sand. Yes, it has. And now we're going to probably roll. Let's turn the engine off because we might well hit the water. And we're rolling. Oh dear. Oh dear. That wheel's gone hit. Oh, and we've hit the tower. And we've broken the drive shaft. See what I mean? A farmhand truck, which isn't meant for doing this kind of thing, survived fine. The box truck, which is certainly not meant for doing this kind of thing, also survived fine. But the car that is meant for going over tough terrain and dealing with heavy landings and at speed has completely broken. The rear axle has come apart, the radiator has been bust, the drive shaft's gone. We've lost at least one wheel in terms of it being inflated. One of the front wheels at least has broken. That other one I think is... yeah, they don't look like the most usable of wheels anymore. And yeah, with the axle shifting around as well, that wouldn't help, even if the drive shaft was still intact. So yeah, this is going to be a difficult one, I imagine. If we can't survive a full chat run like yeah, the previous two vehicles like we have already done, which obviously weren't meant for doing this kind of stuff, then I'm worried that this isn't going to survive. So it doesn't help that it keeps going face down into the ground, which is obviously putting those wheels at risk. Oh, now we're on our side. And we're rolling again. This car really does like rolling. It's two wheels already. Luckily they've only been burst, not actually fallen off. Well, it survived a little bit better than last time, because we've not lost the drive shaft, for instance. It's still going to be drivable is the more important question. I don't think so, because those wheels aren't turning very well. Nope. Well, yes, no. Is that just sliding on the dirt and making it turn around? Yeah, that's not really controllable at all. Those wheels are not playing ball. It's even struggling to get in reverse for some reason. Yeah, those wheels are jammed. If they're not, then they're just... yeah, they're not really playing ball at all there, are they? Right, one more go. Let's see if this supposedly tough vehicle can survive this on our third and final attempt. But I'm surprised that this is struggling and the other two didn't. I really expected them to be the troublemakers and this to be a breeze. Didn't look as damaging on those wheels this time, but it is now going on its roof. Obviously landing on the roof itself isn't majorly a problem, but when we start rolling like this with a car that has such exposed wheels, it does present the risk of damaging the wheels further. Water. What we're going to do. That looks drivable. Come on. It does not like responding to me wanting it in reverse whatsoever. Oh, now the drive shaft's broken. What the hell? Well, this is a fragile car, it seems. I don't know why the drive shaft broke there. Maybe I was a bit too aggressive with the accelerator while in half deep water, and the force of the water or the weight of the water has strained the drive shaft to breaking point. But the vehicle that you would expect to be able to survive this series has failed. I imagine it might well have survived had I dragged it out more than try and drive it out, but you know, you'd expect it to be able to deal with this level of water. I mean, it's not even above the wheels, so yeah, that is a bit of a shame. But there we go. Just goes to show that you the vehicle you'd expect to survive isn't necessarily the easy bet, as yeah, the box truck and the farmhand vehicle were far more durable and far more impressive, to be honest. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.